Snow falls like ash in a world abandoned. The forest of Ardennes stretches endlessly, twisted pines clawing at a gray sky, branches bowed under the weight of ice. Footsteps crunch through frozen mud, echoing like gunshots in the silence. Men move cautiously, shoulders hunched, rifles tight in numb fingers. Their breath hangs in the frigid air, white clouds that vanish as quickly as they appear. A single American squad advances through the wreckage of the day before. Trees shattered, vehicles overturned, the ground scarred by the tracks of tanks and artillery. They pause. A faint whisper of movement drifts through the trees, perhaps wind, perhaps enemy. Every soldier freezes, instincts sharpened by memories of Malmedy. Faces are pale beneath frost-bitten helmets, eyes wide, scanning, calculating. Tension coils like a spring. In the distance, a single rifle crack shatters the stillness. The snow trembles where the bullet strikes. Soldiers dive instinctively for cover. A young private presses his back against a fallen log, heart hammering in his throat. Somewhere ahead, shadows move, figures in gray and green, surrendered? Or the specters of vengeance? The squad commander's hand trembles over the radio, knowing that no reinforcements are close, that decisions made in the next few seconds will echo far beyond this frozen forest. Suddenly, the first man moves. A shot rings out. Silence follows for a heartbeat, then the forest seems to hold its breath, waiting. The war has a cruel way of forcing choices, and here, in the Ardennes snow, revenge is about to become more than a thought. The forest opens to a narrow road blanketed in snow, churned to gray slush by tanks and marching boots. Maps flicker in the imagination, Malmedy to the east, Chenogne just ahead. Names that whisper of blood and betrayal. The soldiers move in a tense column, eyes scanning every ruined house, every shadowed doorway. Their boots sink into frozen mud, dragging sledges of supplies, the metallic clink of ammunition a constant reminder that war does not pause. Voices are low, almost swallowed by the cold. A private murmurs a warning about Malmedy, how comrades surrendered, only to be cut down by SS rifles. Faces tighten, a quiet anger simmers beneath disciplined composure. Orders arrive, sweep the hamlet ahead, ensure no enemy remains, but the unspoken command echoes louder, revenge. Every soldier carries it, hidden behind the tight grip on his rifle. Smoke drifts from ruined chimneys, a ghostly reminder of recent skirmishes. Shattered windows and scorched rooftops frame the path, and in the distance, silhouettes of German POWs are glimpsed, huddled, disarmed, waiting. Every soldier's heartbeat matches the cold rhythm of the wind, and every step is measured, wary of what may emerge from the forest or the past. And yet, something gnaws at them, fear or anticipation, or both. The bitter memory of Malmedy looms like a shadow in their minds, shaping every decision, every glance, every finger poised on a trigger. The snow seems to carry whispers of vengeance, chilling them deeper than the frost. One soldier dares a glance at his comrade, eyes meet, understanding without words. The moment stretches, taut as a wire. And then, just beyond the next bend, the first signs of confrontation appear, and the fragile thread of control begins to snap. The hamlet emerges through the snow like a ghost, rooftops charred, shutters hanging on splintered hinges. Smoke curls from battered chimneys, mingling with the gray sky, carrying the acrid tang of fire and fear. The American squad moves cautiously, rifles raised, eyes scanning every corner, every doorway. The wind howls through broken streets, carrying faint cries, human or animal, it's impossible to tell. Suddenly, they see them, German prisoners, disarmed, lined up in the snow. Men who only days before would have been their enemies, now huddled, vulnerable, shivering. For a heartbeat, hesitation freezes the squad. Memories of Malmedy crash forward, friends cut down after surrendering, bodies left in frozen fields, blood staining the snow. Rage bubbles, raw and bitter, threatening to overwhelm training and discipline alike. A soldier's fingers tighten on the trigger. Another grips the radio, unsure if the orders allow this, if morality has a place here in the Ardennes. Faces are pale, eyes darting, breaths visible in the freezing air, each one a silent question: do we avenge? Or hold back? The forest presses in. A crow takes flight, wings beating against the cold wind. The first rifle cracks, sharp, terrifying, irreversible. The sound echoes off ruined walls, bouncing into the trees. One man falls, snow absorbing his scream. Silence follows for a heartbeat, broken only by the distant whistle of artillery, the groan of a tank stuck in mud, and the distant echo of gunfire from the front lines. In that frozen moment, the line between soldier and avenger blurs. The snow becomes a witness to choices made in anger, fear, and grief. And as the first shot strikes, it is clear, the forest will remember, and the cycle of vengeance is about to unfold. Snow turns to crimson under the soldiers' boots. Chaos spreads like wildfire through the hamlet. Shots ring out from every direction, rifles, pistols, the harsh bark of machine guns. The American squad advances, but fear and rage twist their movements, unpredictable and jagged. Every corner hides uncertainty. A fallen wall could conceal a wounded comrade or a hidden enemy. The air is thick with smoke, mingling with the freezing breath of men and the acrid scent of gunfire. Some soldiers falter. They glance at the German prisoners again, eyes clouded with hesitation, guilt, or rage. The memory of Malmedy pulses through them like a heartbeat, demanding retribution. Orders clash with instinct, discipline against fury. One soldier hesitates, rifle shaking in frostbitten hands. Another fires blindly, adrenaline overtaking reason. Outside, a radio crackles, reinforcements are delayed, commands lost in static. Tanks groan as they inch through mud, their treads grinding frozen earth. Artillery booms in the distance, sending shudders through the buildings. Shadows dart across the ruins, friend or foe, impossible to tell. One young private freezes on a doorstep, face pale, chest tight. He watches as a German soldier slips in the snow, trying to rise, hands raised, pleading silently. The squad moves past him, some follow orders, some follow vengeance. Every second stretches like eternity. The forest presses closer, the wind carrying the distant cries of the wounded, the bark of artillery, the whispers of soldiers who will never see another dawn. The line between justice and revenge dissolves with every shot. And then, just before the next building, a single German prisoner's eyes, wide, terrified, alive, and the squad pauses, knowing that what happens next will be remembered far longer than any order could dictate. The hamlet is a frozen battlefield. Snow crunches under boots slick with mud and blood. Smoke curls from ruined chimneys, twisting into gray ribbons against the slate sky. Tanks rumble past shattered houses, treads grinding the frozen earth, while artillery shells thud into distant fields, sending tremors through walls and frozen ground alike. American soldiers weave between wreckage and crumbling stone, rifles clutched like lifelines. Shouts pierce the cold, commands lost in the din. The cries of the wounded echo from doorways and alleyways, some pleading, some silent, all unforgettable. Snowflakes fall into eyes clouded with grief and rage. German prisoners stumble through the chaos, disoriented, terrified. Some freeze in place, hoping their surrender is enough. Others attempt to crawl into the shadows. The soldiers' faces are masks of exhaustion and anger, hands trembling as memories of Malmedy burn hot in their minds. Each shot fired is a collision of fear, vengeance, and survival instinct. In one ruined house, a young private huddles over a rifle, eyes darting to a fallen comrade. Around him, snow and debris mix with blood, mud, and the acrid smell of spent gunpowder. A tank lurches nearby, shaking the ground, rattling the windows, and throwing soldiers off balance. And yet, amidst the carnage, moments of clarity flash. A medic crouches beside a dying soldier, whispering words no one else hears. An American soldier hesitates, lowering his rifle for a heartbeat, questioning the line between justice and revenge. Then, a flare arcs into the sky, illuminating the ruins in harsh white light. Shadows dance, bodies shift, and a new wave of tension crashes over the battlefield. The snow itself seems to hold its breath. The soldiers know this is far from over, and that the forest will remember every choice, every shot, and every life lost. The snowstorm intensifies, whipping through shattered streets and hollowed-out houses. Visibility drops to mere yards, frozen wind bites through uniforms and flesh alike. The squad, diminished and exhausted, moves like shadows among ruins, rifles raised, senses stretched taut. Only a handful remain fully standing, others crawl, stumble, or cling to each other for support. The hamlet has become a graveyard of shattered wood, smoke, and blood. Tanks groan, their engines churning frozen mud, while artillery booms in the distance. The sounds of battle, gunfire, screams, metal tearing, merge into a terrifying symphony. Every second counts. Every breath carries the weight of lives already lost. A small group of soldiers finds themselves cornered against a collapsed building. Only 9 men remain at the front line, flanked by the snow and frozen debris. The radio is dead, orders impossible to transmit. They exchange glances, unspoken understanding passing among them. Retreat is almost impossible, survival uncertain, vengeance still lingers. A German soldier crawls from the snow, hands raised, pleading in a voice swallowed by the storm. Some Americans hesitate, others raise rifles, fingers tight on triggers. Time stretches, elastic, each heartbeat a drum counting down the inevitable. The cold is relentless, the weight of death palpable. Every shot fired, every man fallen, chips away at the fragile veneer of order. And then, the last volley echoes across the ruined street, a grim punctuation mark. Silence follows, broken only by the whisper of wind through broken walls. The surviving soldiers stand among the carnage, faces etched with fatigue, anger, and disbelief. They have endured, but at a cost measured not in victories, but in the weight of what they have become, and what the snow will forever conceal. The storm begins to relent, leaving the hamlet in an eerie, fragile silence. Snow, once pure, is now streaked with mud and blood, dotted with abandoned rifles and broken helmets. Smoke still drifts lazily from smoldering chimneys, curling into a sky bruised with the dying light of day. The forest beyond seems to hold its breath, as if witnessing the cost of vengeance etched into every footprint. Survivors move slowly, faces pale, eyes hollow with the knowledge of what they have done and what they have endured. The weight of the Malmedy Massacre lingers in their minds, now mirrored in the acts they have committed at Chenogne. The line between justice and reprisal has blurred, leaving only the cold clarity of survival and anger. No orders can undo what has been done. No report will capture the complexity of choices made in frost and fear. Civilian homes stand empty, doors ajar, windows shattered, witnesses to the ripple of violence that war leaves behind. German prisoners who survived crawl away, faces frozen, haunted by the terror they endured. The Americans regroup silently, a unit hollowed not by numbers alone, but by conscience. History will record names, dates, units, and outcomes. It will note that no formal investigation or punishment followed Chenogne, that the 11th Armored Division disbanded, that vengeance was both a weapon and a curse. But the snow remembers too, and the whispers of soldiers, the screams in frozen fields, linger beyond official records. In the Ardennes, revenge carved its mark on both sides. The forest holds the shadows of choices, and echoes of the dead linger in every wind-blown tree. For those who survived, the war did not end with bullets or orders. It lived on in memory, guilt, and the silent snow. The snow drifts over the ruins, softening edges but not erasing memory. Silence stretches across the hamlet, broken only by the distant groan of artillery long spent and the whisper of wind through skeletal trees. The soldiers have moved on, the survivors carrying the weight of what was done, and what could never be undone. This was only one act of revenge in a war defined by chaos, blood, and retribution. The Ardennes snow has hidden countless stories, some forgotten, some deliberately silenced. Each footprint, each frozen rifle, each shadow in the forest speaks to the lives caught between orders, vengeance, and survival. History records dates and names, but it cannot capture the faces, the fear, or the choices made in those frozen moments. The snow remembers, the wind carries their echoes, and the legacy of what happened at Chenogne remains, etched into memory and conscience alike. Step with us into the next story, where war hides secrets darker than the night, where bravery and horror intertwine, and where history refuses to let us forget. Discover the battles, the sacrifices, and the truths that textbooks leave behind. The forest waits. The snow waits. And somewhere, a shadow of war lingers, ready to reveal what was lost, what was taken, and what was left behind.